Welcome to Word, Module 2, Creating a Research Paper. In this module, we're going to be looking at research papers, so MLA documentation style. We're going to format some styles, headers, formatting using keyboard shortcuts. We're going to be really looking at sources. So we're going to insert and edit our citation and other sources, work on footnotes, page breaks, a bibliography, and then just sort of look at a little bit of editing, like replacing text, thesaurus, spelling and grammar, and that kind of stuff. This is actually our completed project. In our project, we will be creating a header. We'll be doing some typing, putting in footnotes, and creating a short bibliography with a few sources. So this is the completed project itself. Because this is the actual first video that we're going to be creating throughout this course, I just wanted to do a quick introduction to Cengage and grabbing our files. In Cengage, we have different modules. We have the textbook project, module project 1, project 2, and the test. In this video, I'm going to be working on the textbook project, so it's a walkthrough of the textbook project. When I create my textbook project, I would go and click into my textbook project itself. Once that comes up, I can just come over here and click Start. Now, this is the area that I will be getting the files that I start with and the files that I upload. So in here, right here, where download all, I can choose to download everything, but basically it's just going to download this start file. Now, everybody has their own individual start file. Mine has my name on it. Yours will have your name on it as well. And this is a breadcrumb, which means that within the file, the properties, they will not allow you to upload somebody else's file. You must upload the file that you start with and that they say you start with. So even if you went and opened up a brand new Word document from Word without using this file, it would not accept it here as a uploaded file for Sam. So we're going to start with this file right here. We're going to then, in the end, we're going to be uploading the file as it says here, expected file name. Now in our instructions, and this is why I'm doing the walkthrough, instructions here come up, and they are like working with a textbook, whereas the projects are like PDF documents so that you can or Word documents so that you can work through them quite quickly. But this is simply the module 2 of the textbook, and this is where all of the information, if you don't know how to do something, is in here for each module. Now I'm going to be walking through, and I won't have this up here, but I will be using the same thing. So now my document came down here, and I'm going to open up my new Word document, and this is where I'm going to start from using this document that downloaded. Now, once I've done that, downloaded it, just make sure that you save the document so that you can find it. Because if you can't find it, then it's no good to you. And you'll notice that I'm opening up in a brand new document. I'm going to enable my editing, and this is where I would start from. So now it's time to get started with this document. So our first task here is, because we are creating a research paper, we want to modify the style for our template. So we have styles right up here, and we are in the normal. So it's grayed out beside the normal. So we're going to right mouse button click on that and choose modify. So we want to modify the style. Once we have this modify style properties come up, we want to change the formatting or the font to Times New Roman and 12-point font. We're also going to change the spacing in this, and we'll change the spacing to double spacing. Now, we can use this button right here, or we can use it up here. I will work with this for a little bit, and then we'll work with it up there. So we have the Times New Roman 12-point font. We want it to apply only to this document. So I don't really want to change normal for all of the documents that I do going forward, but only for this document. We'll make sure it says it down there. And then I'll just say OK. So it's going to change the font for my document. The next thing I want to do is change this spacing. So I will click on this button right here. If you hover over it, it says it's a line and paragraph spacing. I will select that, and I'm going to change it to a 2-point, so double space. So I'll click that. We can't really see the changes right now, but we will see it when we type. And the other thing I want to change here is I'm going to select that, and I want to remove the spacing after the paragraph. So I don't want it to have special spacing after the paragraph. So I will click that, and then I'm going to ensure that all the paragraphs in the paper will be double spaced. So I'm going to then update. So I will right mouse button click, and I'm going to update normal to match the selection. So I haven't typed anything, and I didn't want it to only apply to one paragraph. I want it to apply to the whole document. So I'm going to update normal to match selection. So now our document is ready to go. And when we type, those are the paragraphs styles that's going to happen. Our next task is to create a header. So in our header, we can't really see it right now. I'm going to turn on paragraph markers so that we can actually see what's going on. The paragraph markers it's sort of a show hide. It shows us where markers are and where things are sitting, and that's the kind of thing I want to do. So when we insert our header, I'm going to go into Insert, and over here you'll see the word header. So we have a group called Header and Footer Group. I'm going to click on Header, and I'm going to choose the blank. Right here, I just want a blank header. So I can see that they have my paragraph markers are in there. I can see that I'm in the header. It says to type here, and I will in a second, but I really want it to be on the right-hand side. So I'll go back to my Home tab, and I will choose this in the paragraph. I want to align right. I'll click that. The next thing I need to do is just type. I'm going to type here, and I'm going to type Yazzie. Okay, and I'll put a space in there. Now I have the last name is Yazzie, and there is a space. And the other thing I want to do is put a page number right there. So I'm going to go back to my header and footer. So you'll notice that because I'm in my header, it's blue up here. I have a tab up here that's blue. I'm going to take that. I'll click back into my header and footer, and I'm going to go all the way over to page numbers. So because I have my page numbers, I have a couple of options. I can say top of the page, bottom of the page, page margins, or current position. Well, I want it to go right where my marker was in my current position, and I'm going to choose just a plain number. Okay, so now in my header, I have Yazzie 1. This is page 1, and that's all I need in my header. And so I can go ahead and close the header and footer. When I do that, you'll notice that it's grayed out, but it's still up there. And my cursor jumped to the first paragraph marker at the bottom right after the header. So the header stops at that paragraph marker, And now my paragraph marker is ready for me to get typing. So that's our next job. Our next step is to actually type the research paper. So the first page is going to be our title page, and we're going to just keep it simple. We're going to position ourselves right at this paragraph marker, and I'm going to just type in the name, the instructor, the course, and the date. Oops. October 6th. And one thing about working with Cengage is you really want to make sure that you do everything correctly, do your typing correctly. It will mark you wrong, and we'll end up doing that at the end when we submit this to see if we did anything wrong. And then I'll push enter, and I have a blank paragraph marker down here. The next thing I want to do is I really want to change direction. I want the title to be in the center. So I'm just going to move my cursor over. I have my cursor. And if you see where my cursor is moving, it's going to be left aligned right there. And then it'll change as I get closer to the center of the page. And this means it's going to align center. And if I move over a little bit more, you'll notice that it's going to align to the right. So it's just sort of a quick way that we can change the alignment. And wherever my cursor is where it will select. So if I just go right to the middle here, somewhere around there, and double click, it will then move my paragraph marker right to the center. It will be center aligned. That's what it did right there. And I can just go ahead and type the name of the paper, and it's Health Concerns. And of course, I make a lot of spelling mistakes, and I'm okay with that. But I can just then select on that and right mouse button click and change my spelling. And you'll notice it gives you the definition of it, which is kind of handy. So then I'll make sure my cursor is right at this area here, and I'll push enter. And then I want to change the alignment so that it goes back. So I will come up here and I will align it left. That is going to be the beginning of my paper. Next, I need to allow it to have a first line indent. And a shortcut way of doing this, and one thing about programs like this is there's many ways of doing things, but one of the ways is to work with the ruler bar. However, the ruler bar is not showing, so I'm going to show. So I'll go under View, and in my view, I'm going to show my ruler. And you'll notice that a ruler came up, and mine's in inches, and if yours is in centimeters, that's okay. We can fix that, and we'll just do that in class. So I'm going to then go and I can hover over all of my paragraph issues up here. So this, when it goes to double line like that, it's a left margin. I can change the margins. If I hover a little bit higher, it's first line indent. And I want to change my first line indent over to 0.5. So 0.5 is right there of an inch. Now this textbook is in inches. So if you do not have that going on, if you have centimeters up here, you're going to go to File. You're going to go to way down the bottom to Options. And in the options, you're going to go to Advanced. Okay. And then you're going to scroll down in your advanced options all the way down till you see something that says centimeters. Okay, so I scroll down to display, and mine says show measurement units of, and mine says inches. If yours says centimeters, change it to inches. Okay, make sure you say okay. So we'll change that centimeters to inches. We'll say okay. And then you should have a ruler bar that is in inches. Now that we're ready to start typing, there is going to be some typing that I have to do. And what I'll do is I will sort of pause the recording so you don't have to watch me type. But I will get started in the typing. And all I'm going to do is start with the words, the widespread, and I'll magically come back quickly because I'll just pause the recording and put it back on once I've finished. So, through the magic of technology, I have typed up these 2 paragraphs. I'm keeping my paragraph markers on so I can see what's going on. I have stopped with no period at the end of this sentence, but there is a space right there because we're going to be dealing with putting in some source material. The first thing I do want to do, though, is you'll notice that sometimes we make a mistake, and sometimes Word auto-corrects, and sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it just says it's wrong. We want to place an entry. So say we type something wrong all the time, like we type the wrong all the time, and you want it to auto-correct for you. So we're going to then go into our options and fix our autocorrect so that it does what we want it to do. I'm going to go to File. I'll go down again to Options, and I'm going to go into Proofing this time. In Proofing, I'm going to change one of my autocorrect options. Now you'll notice that there's a few autocorrect options already in here. So sometimes people type in about it in one word and it will autocorrect to about it. So there is a lot of autocorrect words in here. We're going to add one more. So we're going to say, well, when I type the word computer, I always seem to say computer, right? So say, for example, I've already put it in there once. So I always type in computer like that. I want to change it to the correct word. And then I can, in your case, you will add it. In mine, I will replace it because I went through and did that before. But you can put any word that you type incorrectly in there, and then it will replace it. So I will replace that. I will do that. So I'll say, okay, that's good. I can just say, okay. And then I'll say, okay again. And now I'm right back here with my typing here. We're going to ignore this. It doesn't like the fact that I don't have something going on. Its first 2 fingers, it's spelled right. We'll ignore that. So I'm now going to put in, I think, yeah, I'll just stop there for a second, take a peek. So I'm going to be working on references. I'm going to go up to my References tab, and I'm going to ensure that in the Citations and Bibliography right here, that I change this to MLA. Now, when your projects, when you do APA, you'll just change it to APA. So I'll select MLA, and it is MLA 7th. And then I'm going to insert a new citation. So I'll put my cursor down here, and this is the location that my citation is going to be. I'm going to go up to Insert Citation, and I'm going to add a new source. Now, if I have other sources in my document, it will be able to add it right here at the citation, but I don't have any sources. So I'm going to add a new source, and now I'm going to go through and tell it what type of source. So this is an article or periodical. The author is Zhao. I spelled that wrong. A-O. And it's Shen Li. and I'll just tab through till I get to the title. Technology, aches and pains. And the periodical title is Monthly Medical and Review. Oops, I said enter and let's go back in here. I didn't finish it. It just went away. Okay, so I clicked enter instead of tab. So it's right here is my list, and I'm going to edit that so I can finish what I was doing. And if you didn't push enter, that's good. So periodical title, I need tab, and it's going to be 2021 as the year. It will be July, and I don't have a day. The pages are NPAG as the number of pages. And then the medium is web. So I got the ones that I can see, but there are more bibliography fields that I need. So I'm going to show all bibliography fields. And I will scroll down until I get to the date accessed, year accessed, month accessed, and day accessed. I'm going to say that I accessed it in 2021 in October, and it was October 1st. So I got all the information I want. It's part of my source. I'll say okay. Yeah, I want to update both in this case, and I will close that. So what happened was that I need to update this citation because I had made a mistake and pushed enter. So you'll notice that now we have a Zhao here, and this is our citation we put, and so we can then edit our citation or edit our source, but we can now see that this is where this information came from. Okay, the final thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to use my arrow key to get myself off of the citation there, and I'll just put a period in there because we always want the citation to be within the period. So I've put a period in there. All right, so I got that one in there. All of our typing is, oh, we have more typing, I guess. Yeah, I got a little bit more typing to do. So I will just get that done. I'll do it quite quickly, I think, if I stop talking. Okay, so obviously I have some fixing to do, which I don't mind at all. Taking continual breaks and exercising the hands. There we go. Factors. Okay. So I finished that typing. I'm going to save this research paper. So I will go on and I will save as in this case. My save as, I want it to be called, we have a save that I must have missed back here somewhere. about what we're actually calling this paper. Must have missed it somewhere. Can't remember what it's called. Okay, so it is called, let's just get rid of all that. It is called SC underscore WD underscore 2 underscore technology health concerns paper. Now, they're going to expect your paper to be named this. So just make sure that your spelling is correct. Now, this report, you see, this is a report that came out. It had my name attached to it. So just make sure that you save it correctly. So I'll save that. That's good. So now we're down here with our injuries. We finished our typing. And our next step is to insert a footnote. So we want a footnote right down here at our cursor, our paragraph marker is down there. We're going to go up to our references. Make sure your references tab is open. And we're going to go to insert footnote. Okay. So when we insert a footnote, it automatically jumps us down into the footer. And we're going to type the information we want in our footer. So according to Clark and Nadir, tendinitis. It's very hard to see. Okay, so we have, according to Clark and Nadir, tendinitis of the wrist and carpal tunnel syndrome can lead to permanent physical damage if left untreated. So we've got that down there. We put a space. We're going to insert a citation placeholder. And what this means is we know who wrote it, but we haven't done the referencing yet. So we want to put a placeholder in there so that we know that when we create this source and citation properly, that's the one that it will be. So I'm going to go into my, make sure my references tab is still open. And I'm going to do the drop down. You'll notice that we have this Zhao guy here, but that's not who we want to use. We want to add a new placeholder. And in this placeholder, we're just going to say that's Clark. Okay, so then we know who it is, where it came from. We haven't created the bibliography or the source for it, but we will. So we got say okay, and you'll notice Clark comes in there, and I'll put a period. And that way we know that we need to get that sourced out. The next thing we're going to do is to modify our footnotes, because our footnotes are really small and we would like to be able to fix that. So I'm going to put my cursor anywhere in my footnote. I'm going to right mouse button click, and I'm going to go to style. Okay, style. And you'll notice that it comes up as a style. It's my footnote text. And I want to modify this style right here. So I will modify right here. So I have my text. I'm going to modify. And my modify styles properties come up. And I'm going to change this so that it's Times New Roman. And I want it to be a 10-point or 12-point font. Sorry about that. I also want it to be double spaced. Okay. So I want it to be double spaced, and I want it to indent, a first line indent. So I'm going to go to Format right here, And under my format, I'm going to choose paragraph. And my paragraph properties comes up, and I'm going to choose in my indentation, a special indent. I want it to be a first line indent by 0.5. Okay, so now I have my paragraph. I want the first line indent. It's already said it's going to be double spacing because I told it to. I'm going to say OK. So it looks good. It looks like what I want. 12 point Times New Roman font. First line indent, double spaced. And I'm going to say OK. And then I'm going to apply. And when I apply, it's also easier to read. But now my footnotes are down there. I've applied it, and it looks exactly the way I want it to look. Now we're actually going to edit this source right here. So we're going to go to this Clark, and I'm going to choose to edit the source, not the citation, but the source. So I'm going to edit the source, and it's going to come up here. And now I'm going to enter my information about the source. So this is a book. So I'll choose it, book. We have two authors, and because we have two authors, we need to edit to add the authors. So we have two authors. The first one is, let's see who it is, Clark. First name, Addison, and middle name, Lee. So we have Clark Addison Lee. We're going to add that. So Clark Addison Lee. And our next one is Nadir. First name, Aisha. And middle name is S-A-T-I. Okay. S-A-T-I. And we're going to add. So we've now got two authors in here. We could move them up and down if we want to, and I'll say OK. So now we have our authors, and we will move on with the rest of the information. So this is repetitive strain injuries. Is the book title 20? That's the book. Yep. Oops, sorry, I did it again. Tab book. Let's see, author appears, text, title text, we did the title. 2021 is the year. Boston is the city. And the publisher is Lighthouse. And print is the medium. Okay, so now we have all of our information that we need there. I said book section, I wanted book. There, that's better. I wanted book, not book section. And I'll say okay. So now it updated down here in our citation based upon the source that we created. And we're just going to edit a little bit more in here because we just want, because it says according to Clark and Nadir, we don't need to say Clark and Nadir, but we do want to put the page numbers in. So now we're going to click on that and we're going to edit the citation. And in our edit citation, it's like, what do you want to add? Pages? Yep, I do. I want to say it's 65 to 66, page 65 to 66. And I want to suppress the author and I want to repress the title. Okay, so I don't want to show that. I just want it to have page numbers down there. So now we have our page number 65 and 66. All right. So our next step is to enter more text. And we're going to enter more text up here. And I'm pretty sure it's the body. And I put my cursor here and at that footnote, and I'm just going to push enter so I can start a new paragraph. And now I'm going to type in the rest of the information on these paragraphs, starting with people often listen. Oops. And I will finish that text and it will end with okay, so now that that's all typed up, I've got it, it's now on another page here. I have put a space after the word loss, and I really need to put another citation placeholder there. So I'm just going to add a placeholder because once again, I haven't gotten the source done. So I'm just going to type in there Sanchez, and so I got Sanchez in there, just double check that I spell it right. And then I'll put a period. So now we have that. The other thing I want to do is I want to count my words. I want to see how many words I have in here. So I will take a look here. Down here it says 263 words. But if I wanted to check my word count indicator, I could just click on the words here and it shows that I have this many words, and I want to make sure that I include text boxes, footnotes, and endnotes, so I could take that off if I didn't want to include them in my word count or put them back on if I did. So we really want that to be available. If ever you don't see those down there, you can just right mouse button click on your status bar and it will come up with a menu, and you can choose to select or deselect them. So in other words, see this says page numbers, there's word counts, and there's all sorts of different things that you might want to have on. So that's just information. Now we're going to just move on and finish this source up. Because we have the source that we want to add for Sanchez, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm going to go into my placeholder. I'm going to edit the source on this. And in this source, it was a website. So we're going to scroll down to website. And the name, the author in this is going to be Sanchez, George Mario. And the name of the web page itself is Technology and Your Hearing. Capitalize that. The year accessed, if we go to show all bibliography fields, we'll go down to year access. That was 2021. The month accessed in this case is October, and it is the 1st. And then we'll just scroll down until we find out where we want the web as the medium. Just double check, there it is. It is the web. Okay, and so I have that. Got everything I need for that one, and Sanchez has now got a citation. The source is complete. The other thing that's of interest here is you'll notice that we have a page. This is a white space here. So if we want to hide the white space in our document, we would just double click it, and it shows that there is a line there for the page break, but sometimes you don't like to see that. But if you wanted to show the white space, you just double click it again. So that's just hides and shows your double spaces. All right, so now I just have the final bit of typing to do. And then we're going to be creating our bibliography. So I just have a sentence or two to put in here. So I will pause recording, get that in there, and continue on. All right, so I've typed that final paragraph there. I put a space in right there, and yes, there is, and also is underlined in blue, but that's okay. We can leave that there. The next thing we're going to do is to create our bibliography. So I'm going to put in a page break. Now there's a couple of ways of doing it. One of the ways that we can do it is to simply go to the page break. So go to Insert, and we have a page break right here. So I can just click on page break, and it created, you'll notice, a page break right there, and it brings us to the next place. We can also do a Control Enter, and it would do the same thing. I use that a lot, the Control Enter, but now we're in a new page, and this is where we're going to do our bibliography. So if I wanted to use a shortcut key, I can say Control E, and what that Control E will do would be to center a line. The paragraph mark, I'm going to type in the word works cited, and I'll press enter. And then if I do a Control L, it will left align my page as well. It's got the hanging is still happening there, so we're okay with that. And then I need to put it back. So I'm just going to drag it back so the works, so that it's not, so that we don't have the first line indented. Okay. So we're then going to go to our References tab. And in this case, with our cursor being where it's at, we can then look at where citations and bibliography. So you just click that down. And we're going to choose to insert a bibliography right down here. We're not going to use the built-in ones. They do come with the headings themselves. But if we insert a bibliography, it does not come with the heading, which is nice. So now we have 1, 2, 3 right there. You'll notice that there is a hanging indent. So it's just the formatting that is used for our bibliography. That's just what they've done. We're going to save this just to say that it's been saved. We don't want to lose our stuff. So we will save that. Now that we have those, we're going to fix up some of our sources. We also are missing a source here somewhere. So we do need to fix that up. So if I go to my sources up here, I'm going to manage them. And you can see I have 3 in my current document. All these over here are other ones that I've used before, but these are in our current list, and you'll notice that all 3 of those are placed in our documents, and there is a check mark. So if I have created a source and I had not yet put in a citation in my document, it would not have a check mark beside it. So this check mark just shows that I have cited some information from these sources themselves. Okay, so I want to edit Zao. So I'll click on it and I will click edit. And what I'm going to do here is I'll go to the periodical title. So monthly medical and review. It's actually just not correct. It just should say monthly medical review. Um, so I just can edit it at any time. And in that case, I'll say okay. And then it will ask me if I want to update it. So if the source exists in your master list and your current document, do you want to update both of them with the changes? And the answer is obviously yes, I do. Thank you. Okay, so I updated that. And I can close this now. But I also want to update my bibliography. So you'll notice in my bibliography, it still says monthly medical and review, which is incorrect. So I can just put my cursor anywhere in the bibliography and I can update that. So I will update the field. And when I update the field, you'll notice that it did change. So it says monthly medical review instead of monthly medical and review. So that means that now that I have updated it, it is correct. So we can't just change the citation or the source and update automatically. We actually have to update our bibliography as well when we do that. Okay, our next task in revising this paper is to modify text on the first page of this document. So we're going to go to the View tab up here. And now we want the navigation pane to be showing. So we want to view our navigation pane. We have headings, pages, and results. So we can search in here. So we want to go to pages. And you can see that we have our thumbnails that are here. We want to click in the first page, and so that we can go right to the first page. Now this is just a fast way of navigating through our documents. For now we have only 3 pages, so it's pretty quick, but it's a much faster way than scrolling to get to a specific page. The other way is if you go down to this page number, you could actually type in and go through your pages that way. But this is just using the navigation pane right here. So just a way that you can scroll through and find things. If we take that off navigation panes, then we're just back. We're just in the first one. So we also need to work on another citation. So we have omitted one. We're looking for a citation that goes at the end down here by the word keyboarding. So we'll just put it on the other side. Make sure it's between the last letter and the period there. So we're going to go into our references and insert a citation. And for this one, it is the Nadir repetitive strain injuries. We want to take that one and just click on that, and now it inserts right in Clark and Nadir right there. But say we put it in the wrong spot. We don't have to redo it at all. We can just take it and we can drag it to where we want it. So it's right there, but we don't want it there. We want it to go somewhere else. We want it to go right down here on the end of this paragraph, repetitive strain injuries. We'll just click on the 3 dots there and just grab and drag it down until it's on the other side of that period. And you'll notice that there it is. We just drag and drop it. So we just release it. I'm going to go back to the Home tab. And this time I'm going to do sort of some searching. We're going to go into the Find. So we want to find. So you'll notice we got a find up here. I'm just going to click Find, and when the Find comes up, the navigation comes up, which is quite handy. So we want to find the word auditory. Okay, so it shows up that we have 2 words with auditory, and it shows up in the pages about where they are. And our goal is to replace the word auditory with another word called listening. So we've now see that we've used the word auditory. We're just going to go up to replace, And because I found the word auditory, and I click on the word replace in the editing area here, it comes up automatically. So I want to replace that with listening. Okay. And I'm going to replace all. So I'll just click on replace all. And it says all done. We made 2 replacements. And I say, okay, and I'll close this. And I can see that those 2 were auditory devices, and it's now changed to listening. So that's what I wanted it to do. I didn't like that word. We could also use a thesaurus. So say, for example, we want to find another word for, what are we looking for? Continual. See if it finds it. So in this case, we have the first instance of continual, or the second instance, so the mouse usage and continual shifting between taking continual breaks. So what we've done is we've used them quite often. So in this one, just this one here, I'm going to go to synonyms for continual. I could also do that without the navigation. I could just search for it. But this says, what would be a synonym for it? And maybe we'll use frequent for this one. Okay, so it left my continual there, but it changed this one to taking frequent breaks, which sounds a little bit better. All right, so if we wanted to do the whole spelling and grammar, in spelling and grammar, we want to just make sure our cursors are at the top of the page of our document, and we can just do review. So we'll go to review, and we have our spelling and grammar up here. So we can just do a spelling and grammar check just by clicking it. And this one is like Mr. So-and-so. We're going to ignore him all the time because that's a name. And if we look through, it doesn't seem to give us any other issues with it. But that would be one of the ways that we could do that. I think all of the other stuff is good. We've got an R placed. So this one is for clarity. We could look at that one. I don't think there's any more. I think everything's good. We'll just leave it as desired. So that is, all this stuff is in our way now. So let's just close our navigation pane, and we'll close our editor there. And now we're sitting here, and it's starting to look really good, like we're just about done. Our next step is to use the researcher, just sort of to research some words, like what does that mean? So the first thing we want to do is to go to the References tab. And we are looking to research some information on, for some reason, headphones and earbuds. Okay, so I'm going to look for that through headphones and earbuds. So I'm just going to select the words that I want to check here. And the we have different things in here. We can use a researcher, and we can use search. So we could search, and this would search the web for headphones that we could buy or whatever. Like it would just be able to search and see if that is there. We could also use researchers. So say I want to know more about carpal tunnel. I will just click off of that, and this time I'm going to use the researcher. So the researcher says, well, start here. So I'm going to just type in carpal tunnel syndrome. And then I will search right there, and it will give me some information on carpal tunnel syndrome. I could look around and see what's in there. So it's just giving me some more information if I need it. So I can X out of that. And I'll close off of that. And I'm going to go to the home ribbon. And now that I've gotten lots of my stuff done, I'm just going to turn off my paragraph markers so it looks a little cleaner. I can see what it looks like. I can zoom my page zoomer out and in to see the pages if I wanted to. So I'll leave that there. It should be able to look at things a little bit differently. I can go to my view and I can see multiple pages. I can have one page. I can have a side by side. So it just allows me to look at things a little bit differently. So yeah, and we also have things called read mode. Now read mode, if we've clicked out read mode, it's down here as well. And I can open up read mode, and it's sort of, I'm just using my mouse roller to read through this. I can change the color. I can have a page color. I can change it to none. Go back up to view, and I can change my page color to sepia. So there's different things I can do there. And all that does is it makes it easier for you to read. It's easier on your eyes, not so bright. Okay, so if I go back to page layout or print layout view, I'll just go down here and click print layout view, and it shoots me back to the way I was before. And I'll just go to 100% and make sure everything is there doing its thing. Okay, and now we're going to move on to comments. So we read through the paper and we've decided that we had a couple of comments for the author of this. So when we have a comment, what we need to do first is select the text that we want to put the comment in. And so I'm going to select taking frequent breaks and injuries for the Clark and Nadir thing. And I've highlighted that. And I'm going to go to Review tab up here. And I'm going to show a new comment. So this says show comments. I want to leave the comments to show comments, but I'm going to add a new comment. As soon as I add a new comment, my name comes up here and I can start a conversation. So in my new comment, I'm going to say, let's cover the hand and arm exercise and arm exercises in our brochure for patients. Okay. Oh, I spelled that incorrectly, but I will fix that. So let's cover the hand and arm exercises in our brochure for our patients. And if I want to post that comment, I just push post comment right here. And maybe I have another comment. So I'm going to take another one in the this one that says lower volumes can help minimize potential hearing loss. I'm going to put a comment in there. So I'll just go up and say new comment. And this time I'll just have, what is this new comment? Last sentence, new comment. And that's another one that says, let's stress this point in our brochure for patients. Okay, so let's stress this point. So now that I'm in this comments, I'm going to post it. And up here, I can go to the previous comment or the next comment. So if I go to my previous comment, it goes up to the comment above it. And if I go to previous, in this case, it's just going to go around in circles, and next comment, etc. So if I wanted to make a comment on a comment, I can edit a comment because I created it, so I can edit a comment, or I can add to it, like I could reply to it. So I'm going to go to edit this comment, and I'm going to say, what does it say? Let's cover examples. And so cover examples of the hand and arm. Okay, so I just edited that. I put that comment in. And I can also go, if I go my next comment, maybe I want to reply to this. So I'll reply to my own comment. Aha, excellent idea. Okay, oops, I pushed enter instead of post. So look at that. I told myself that was an excellent idea. So now we have a few comments. We have that comment and another comment, and I told myself that was an excellent idea. So sometimes we have comments, but we don't want to show them. So we don't have to show our comments. So I show comments, don't show comments, right? But it also shows that there is a comment here. So that's a little bit of, sort of shows that there was a comment on here. And what that does is it just says there's comments to be shown. But we can also delete a comment. So say I got this one here and I'm like, ugh, let's get rid of it. So I'll just click the three dots and I can delete the thread right here. And then it just deletes it, it's just gone. I could also go up here to our, like say I'm just sitting here at this one. I can go to delete up here in our comments area, and I can delete all comments in the document. So I'll just delete all comments in the document. and then it's good to go. So that is it for all of the things we're going to do. Our final step is to make sure that we save it, and we're going to upload it. And I'm only going to do the upload once, just because it's going to be the first one, but we'll upload this and get our up to Cengage to show what it looks like. All right, so now I have my document right here, and I'm just going to drop it down just a little bit to keep it down there so I can look at it. I'm back in Cengage, and at the start page. Sometimes when you work with these, you have to actually go back and log back in because it logs you out. In this one, it says that it expects a file named this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to name my file that actual name. And for me, I kind of just going to be a little bit sneaky. I'll just put it there, make sure. So I'm going to do a save as. So I will save as. And I don't like that. It just needs to have an underscore and my name. So I need to have an underscore Kathy Fisher. Just double check that they want that to look like that. And that looks good. SC Technology Health Concerns paper. So if it's the wrong name, it won't let you. So let's say I just delete I didn't spell it right. So I'll just say save. And I'll just minimize that, or just minimize that for a bit. And I know that I put it in my downloads, so I'll just go to my downloads because I was not putting it in the right spot. So I have a paper right here. So I'm going to take my paper and I'm going to drag and drop it into SAM. Okay. It says there's an error uploading the file. And it says that the file name did not match. Well, I kind of knew I did that, right? But what I can do is I can close my paper and go into my file. And this time I will rename it, right? I'll just fix that up and put the R in there. And let's try that again. So then I will drag and drop that into there. And now I took it, right? So it saved that file and I can submit. There is unlimited submissions right in there. So it says the submission is successfully graded. And I'm going to view the grader report. And now that I've done that, I can open it. Whatever one they gave me, I can open it. Okay, so let's take a look at this right now. Looks like I forgot. I did some texting or some issues here. So in this case, I only got 97 out of 100. I don't have to do it again if I don't want to, but I got 97 out of 100. It gives me the scores. The name of this is a report. It says report, so it's not the document I was working on. It says enter more text. So it looks like I forgot to enter some text, but otherwise I got everything else right. And then it shows me my report. So it shows that I did something wrong down here that I could probably fix. Otherwise, everything looks okay. So that's the report. Once I've done that, I can close that up if I want to look at it. And then it would tell me how I did. And when I close it, for me, because I'm instructor, it doesn't really show me that I got it, but it says there's no marks associated with this project. So in that, it's not part of your grade book, but it's handy to do, but it's not necessary. When you do these, they'll show up as your project. So it shows that, for me, it doesn't show that I submitted anything. For you, it will. It should have said that there's a graded, upload a new file, and then you would start a new one. Okay, so I think that's as good as we get. That and everything else is just sort of doing the same thing, just walking through it.